Today, we're going to talk about the dark side of self-improvement, how it could slow you down or even ruin your life. So before you read that next self-help book that everyone is raving about or doing that self-development course, you want to watch this film first. So how is self-improvement ruining your life? Well, it might not be ruining your life, but I can tell you, a lot of people would be better off without self-help. Now, that might sound like a controversial statement to make, especially coming from someone like me, who's worked in the world of personal and professional development for 30 years. I've written 20 books. Look, here are some of them: Sort Your Life Out, Life DIY, Habit Busting. Why would I be making a statement like that? Well, the reality is, for most people who get involved in self-development, self-growth, self-improvement, is they get a sense, they make a little bit of progress, but invariably people go back to where they were before. You see, there are gaps between where we are and where we want to be. And in the work that I do, it really revolves around these big three. We talk about them all the time: our health, our relationships, our wealth, and our work. We know there are gaps and we make some improvement to close the gaps. But human beings have a 2 million-year-old brain, and most of us go into survival mode. We are wired up to survive. When human beings get comfortable, there is a big problem. And what I'm about to say might actually change the way that you look at self-improvement. Of course, it can be an incredible thing to do, but it's not a one-off. It's not something that you just do once. But let me explain it to you like this. Look, if I was going to say to you, do you want this? I'm going to give it to you. It's 20 English pounds. Now, in your head, you might be going, oh, well, what's the catch? No, there's no catch. You can have it. Now, what if you said yes? Would you still want it now? I mean, come on, it's still the same. You'd say, yeah, of course. Well, how about now? Would you still want it now? I didn't really spit in it. Look, the reality is all of us are a little messed up. All of us are a little screwed up. Why? Because we have grown up in a world that has given us the message or the messages that we are not good enough. We are the problem. And what I'm going to say to you now is so true. It's not we're the problem, we're the solution. And when it comes to self-help, we often look at self-help gurus and we put them up on a pedestal and think, wow, that is the answer I've been looking for. No, it's not the answer you've been looking for. You are the answer that you have been looking for. And we know that people don't change when we tell them what to do. People change when their perspective changes. And that is what I want to explain to you right now. So we know there are gaps and people start to make improvement. And I admire anyone that does that. But most of us, when we get comfortable, when we get out of pain, if you think about times in your life where you wanted to change, for most people, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? They had enough of being enough. If someone is overweight, they're sick and tired of being overweight, of feeling uncomfortable. If they were in a relationship that just wasn't working, it got to a point where it was breaking point. It is pain that pushes people forwards. Because people really don't know where it is that they're going, because they think they are the problem, they're not thinking of the solution. And for me, the solution is starting to think about who you need to become, to identify with the answer to your challenges, which is where you actually want to go. So it's so important to realize that just because you might have been messed up, just like I was saying with this 20 pounds, it doesn't matter how screwed up it is, your self-worth is there. And once you start to recognize your self-worth, you really will see that you are the solution that you've been looking for. Look, you have a 2 million-year-old brain that wants to avoid pain. And this is the big challenge that we face, because if you want to make growth in some area and pull through and make things better, you're going to go through some sort of pain. But what most of us do is we go round in a circle, round in circles, go back to being comfortable, and we keep going through there. So My big challenge to you is, do you want to be in the 2% club? What does that mean? I reckon it's 2% of people that will read a book and not just read it, they will apply it. And that's another reason why self-improvement could ruin your life, because you can read books like this but not do anything about it. So you know something, but you're not doing anything with what you know. And that also can breed within people the feeling of, I'm not good enough, because they know deep down they haven't done what they've been asked to do. The 2% of people who really are successful, they identify with what they want. And we talk about this in some of our other YouTube videos. The word identity means your repeated beingness. So you tend to be who you think you are. And this is the biggest problem with self-improvement, because most people don't identify with something different to what they currently have. If you don't identify with something different to what you currently have, what do you think happens? You just go in those circles of comfort and you keep on repeating. Look, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And that is why so many people find that self-improvement is really hard work, because they just keep going round in circles and never really go to a place they've not gone before. And look, the last couple of things I want to mention here is that it's not about winning and losing. Winning is a process. The word winning means to strive and to struggle. It's not like I have now self-improved. Self-improvement is an ongoing process. And if you want to manage the process and have success, you've got to face up to this. Now, I know you're thinking, what is that drawing on here? This is a duck. Why a duck? Well, many people see pictures of me with a duck on my head. I've written a book called Shut the Duck Up. Duck in the head, for me, is the voice that wants you to stay where you are. It's the 2 million-year-old part of your brain that doesn't want you to get hurt, that doesn't want you to evolve. And what self-improvement doesn't teach people is to play in the zone of complexity, to play in the zone of challenge, to play in that zone where it's difficult, it's challenging, but you know that is the place that you need to be. You're always going to have that voice in your head. And this is the most important thing maybe I'll ever say to you. How do you shut your duck up? Well, you'll never shut that voice up. It's how you deal with it. And I would encourage you to wake up to the fact that you are more than the narrative that you keep telling yourself about why you should be where you are and why you shouldn't advance. And to wake up to the genius that we all have inside us. See, there's a part of us that knows more than what is written in any book. And that's the part of us that wants to evolve. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with self-improvement, but unless you take responsibility for where you are, then self-improvement will always ruin your life. What is the answer you've been looking for? It's you. It's looking at yourself in the mirror. So the next time you look at yourself in the mirror, put a big smile on your face and say, I'm taking responsibility here. I'm taking responsibility for what I'm saying to myself. It's not that you might not need help. I believe everyone needs help to navigate and move forwards. But you are the solution to the challenges that you are facing. Let us know in the comments below, what's your biggest takeaway from watching this video? Are you ready to be in the 2% of people to decide to go for something, to create the future that you want? It's not going to happen by chance. It's going to happen by design. We'll see you next time.